pictures look beautiful, but I got to tell you, the weather on the East Coast is throwing retailers a snowball. Them banking on big after-Christmas sales could be a big bust because of the blizzard. But in other parts of the country, shoppers are hitting the malls, spending the money that they got for Christmas. They're looking for bargains. Joining us now is Ed Butowsky, managing editor, partner of Chapwood Capital Investment Management and creator of Chapwood Portfolio Investment Score, or
the CHIP score.
The CHIP score, right. All right, Ed. So, I know some folks who are starting out as early as 5 o'clock this morning. They're like, I'm going to get there to those sales. So I ask you, though, are the after Christmas sales today and all this week sort of a key ingredient of the batter, or is it icing on the cake for the retailers?
Absolutely. In fact, it is truly icing on the cake. Most of the good work has been done up till now. The shopping started a little bit earlier this year in November. We started to see actually a little bit of a slowdown towards the end of December. It was kind of surprising relative to what people were looking for normally. So this is icing on the cake. I will tell you, this storm is going to cause a problem.
It is.
I mean, we are seeing usually this next week represents about 10% of what had happened or the sales of the previous 30 days. And now most of the shopping would have been done today and tomorrow. This storm, with the big population being in the Northeast, has really caused a problem. So that icing on the cake is not going to taste as good as it would have.
I was going to say, what kind of cake do you need? You need icing on the cake. That's the cakes I like, at least. So while they're not totally counting on it to affect their bottom line, they were hoping to count. It was going to count for something. Let me talk, though, about this. If you own stock in some of these big retailers, when you close the books next week, are you going to be happy with what you're seeing overall?
That's a good point. It's a very good thing to look at, because a lot of these stocks move up 6 to 9 months ahead of anticipation and ahead of the sales. I think there's going to be some disappointment because of this weather. I also started you're starting to see some retailers, the numbers aren't coming in quite like you thought they were going to come in. Additionally, because of the promotions, there's a lot of promotions going on right now. You have entire stores that are on sale. The earnings are not going to be there for a lot of these retailers. So you're going to start to see a little bit of the numbers not be quite what they had thought they were going to be. That is going to be a problem for some of the shareholders of these stocks. I'd be very cautious about owning these retail stocks. Even though we've had a good time period, they've already moved up in anticipation of that. I'd be careful of owning retail stocks right now.
So we have had a good time, and shoppers are feeling euphoric, but then they're spending money during the holidays. But then comes the reality check. You kind of go back to real life, and you realize, wait a minute, a lot of people don't have jobs. And so I ask you, how will this affect consumer spending moving into the new year?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, the previous 2 Christmases have not been very good. All right, I think a lot of people have said, what, now that we've got the tax policy under control, or knowledgeable, I should say, clarity for the next 2 years, people are starting to feel a little bit better. But the question is, what do we do for the next, or what do we do for the other 11 months of the year? All right. Do I think this is a forecast that the economy is better? Absolutely not. We have to get job growth. We have to start seeing unemployment drop, and that has to happen very, very soon, or we're going to have a problem in this country. So even though everybody's happy, I would not be ecstatic about this at all.
This is usually the time of year when some of those businesses who have been around for a long time start to really look at their numbers and say, hey, are we going to make it or not? Is that the case? And,
yes.
And what do you think will happen in terms of forecasting those outcomes?
Well, there's a lot of companies that they needed a good year, a good Christmas season to stay in business, okay? And they are staying in business. But you're going to be surprised, about a week from now, we're going to all of a sudden hear this company went out of business, and we're going to go, wow, they've been around for 30, 40 years. We're going to see it. It happens every year.
Why does that happen at this time of the year? Just normal attrition?
Well, part of it, normal attrition. All businesses, have a lifespan at some point, but because they've been such a tough time, and because the macroeconomics of this country and in the world have changed, you're seeing a lot of big retailers that were waiting and hoping for this Christmas season to be a big break for them, or to keep them in business, and the numbers just don't come in.
But I want to end on an up note.
Okay.
But there were people out at the malls more than in years past.
That's correct.
Recent years, that is. So people are feeling good. What do you think made people feel safe, even if it's for a short time, to go back into the malls? I
think a lot of it has to do with things being less bad. Okay, people are positive about what's going to happen out there. Right, people are looking forward to things happening in a very positive basis, but they're still cautiously optimistic. People went out, people spent money. I did it. I didn't spend as much as my family wish I did, but I spent money. At the same time, people are still cautiously optimistic, and they're not ready to really make that big purchase just yet.
Indeed. All right, Ed Butowsky, thank you very much for your insight.
Absolutely.